Send us a message. Give us your thoughts.
Like,
I'd like to hear
comment,
more. Like, comment,
subscribe.
subscribe. We should do a poll on if people think the moon landing was real or not.
We're gonna do a poll on if people are literate, intelligent Americans or not.
I'm just saying, give it a watch back and see. Hello. Hi.
Hello, hi, how are you? Hi, mom.
Hi, honey. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. We had a busy weekend, very busy weekend. Do you want to talk about it?
I would love to talk about it because we actually got to be together a lot this week, which is my
Hmm.
favorite thing in the world.
Hmm.
And I was just going to tell the listeners my last like 10 days. 10 days? Can I go 10 days?
Go for it. 10
Okay.
days.
So I had some friends have a big birthday party down in Miami,
Hmm.
and it was next level amazing.
Yep.
So I had this really awkward experience that I wanted to talk to you about because I've been following this guy on Instagram for a long time, like over 2 years, that is a
Okay.
Broadway vocalist, Broadway singer. He was just finished The Wiz.
Okay.
His name is Avery Wilson. He's this incredible young singer, and I've just been obsessed with him. I saw him on a NPR Tiny Desk concert a few years ago, and I was like, "Who is that singer?" Went
Yeah.
in, Insta stalked him, all the things. So I walk into this birthday party, and this guy is like singing at the birthday party. It
Hmm.
is him. They have
That's awesome.
flown in this guy. They met him through some mutual friends. Honey, you would have been so mortified and embarrassed for me because like he's right in the middle of singing and I walk right up to him and I'm like, "Are you Avery?" Like I actually know him from Instagram. Like how awkward is it when you follow people on social media, you follow people on Instagram, you
Yeah.
don't know them, they don't know who you are,
Well,
and
that's
you act like and
that's a thing.
I was like, I'm so embarrassed right now. I normally am a very normal person and I was geeking out over this poor guy. And I think I made him very uncomfortable because I was really weird. And so he's saying, I cried. He is maybe the best vocalist I've ever heard in my life in person outside of Luther Vandross and Jeffrey Osborne. He's that good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He's as good as Luther? Really?
He's a different type of vocalist, but his range, he's incredibly talented. But anyway, you would have been very embarrassed by your mom because I just talked to him like he should know me and like he knows that
Yeah.
I'm like I follow you on Instagram. I'm a huge fan, and I was just like such a dork. I was a big dork.
So apparently that's a thing. It's called parasocial relationships or
What is
interactions.
that?
It's described as one-sided relationships, as for example, between celebrities and their audience or fans. So he would be the celebrity, and then you would be the audience or fan.
Oh gosh, so I was weird. I was weird, and I
Oh, it
apologized
happens.
profusely several times, but it just surprised me so much. Like, wait a minute, I know this guy. No, I don't. I just follow him on Instagram. So
But
anyway,
you know of him.
yeah, but anyway,
Yeah.
he's incredible. But there really is this incredible thing where you follow people on social media and you genuinely think you know them and
Yeah.
that they know you. So it was fun. And then one night we ended up at this club in Miami called 11, and
Okay.
I did not know anything about it. So are you mortified if your mother tells you it might have been a little bit of a strip club?
Yeah, 11 is a strip club.
I
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
it was
It's
like
like
a
one of the
dance
most
club.
famous in Miami. Mm-mm.
I thought it was a dance club. So,
Well, it is.
but there's also some scantily clad people there.
Yeah, I mean, stripping is just dancing with some extra steps.
So yeah, but it was
Yeah.
very cool. 50 Cent performed, and 50 had all these bundles of cash, and he was like, making it rain
Yeah.
in the club, passing out cash to people. And
Yeah.
so your mom got a big stack of ones from 50. I did not take anything off to get my ones, just to be clear for our audience. But
Hmm.
but mom has a big stash of cash from a 50-cent bundle.
Shout out to 50.
So there you go.
All
So
right.
then I went and worked the SEC championship game, first time in my 30-something year career of college football I ever got to work an SEC championship game. It was phenomenal. The first time in history that game has gone into overtime between Georgia and Texas. Georgia ended up winning. Then I got to drive up to Georgia the next day and do like selection show stuff with Kirby Smart, Trevor Etienne, Malachi Starks. They were just so awesome and cute.
Love
And
it.
then I flew to New York and did the Heisman.
Yep.
Travis Hunter won. Ashton Jeanty,
Awesome.
very close second. Dylan Gabriel.
Didn't they say it was the closest? It was
Closest
like one of
vote
the
in
closest in
history.
history. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And Cam Ward from Miami. And
Yep.
this has to be maybe my favorite group of Heisman finalists we've ever had, as far as just inspirational stories. You know, 3 of the 4 didn't start at the schools they finished at.
Yeah.
Cam Ward had 1 scholarship offer coming out of high school to Incarnate Word. Played there, worked his way up to be a Heisman finalist. So anyway, when I say Mom has had an epic 10 days from, you know, partying with 50 Cent to the Heisman, it's just, and I met Lil Wayne. And I met
Lil Wayne. Wow. Big
And
rap
this
weekend.
was really cool. This was a big weekend. So Lil Wayne is a big women's basketball supporter. Like he is like, he also often tweets about women's basketball players. He's like a true OG fan. And I got to meet him. He has tweeted at me before. So again, I feel like I know him, even though probably don't really know him. So I did go up to him and I was like, hi, I just wanted to say hello. And he's like, oh, Miss Holly, it's all love. And he was so cool and so sweet. And he was very nice to me. So from 50 to Lil Wayne to Avery Wilson, Mom's had a week.
That's a week. Yeah, that's fun.
And then we got to hang out. So tell the people what we got to do this week.
We went to the Alvin Ailey. What would you call it? Like the show? The Alvin
Dance
Ailey
theater,
Showcase?
dance company.
Dance company show. And they were great. They've been doing shows, I guess, all through December.
Yes.
And so they do like 3 different kind of versions or whatever. And it was really good. I did want to talk about this stuff. I worry that I don't get dance.
So first of all, I was really grateful to you. So I read about Alvin Ailey as a man who started this dance company in Harlem in 1958. And I must have read about it sometime in like the early 80s, because when I say I have been trying to go and see an Alvin Ailey dance performance for probably 30 years, much of my life. And we finally got to go. So this has been a bucket list of mine my whole life. So I was very emotional. You know me, I'm all geeked up. But I was really grateful that you and your girlfriend were willing to go with me, because I'm sure you're like, dance? Like what? Like what made you say yes to your mom?
Because I knew you wanted to go. And it's Christmas time, So it's like a little Christmas present. So
well, I really appreciated it. But so they did 3 separate acts. And the first act, I'm just going to be honest, you and I looked at each other and we were like, I don't get it.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. I like what I don't, it's, I don't get it. Especially when the music doesn't, there was a lot of,
dissonant chords and
so you couldn't really follow. And I remember I felt really bad, but I was like, if they would just sing during this, it would make a lot more sense, and I'd probably enjoy it more. And I was like, oh, I'm just describing a musical. But I do appreciate, and like the dancers were amazing, and it's like such as athletic feat. But when I don't get the story of it when I'm watching it, I appreciate it and I love it, but I'm not like, oh, I got it,
But okay, so
you got to see the right thing.
So I have to explain to you. So I think that dance is most often interpretive. And so it doesn't mean one thing for every person. So you get to interpret.
Dance.
You get to interpret. Right. That is interpretive dance. Alvin Ailey is interpretive dance.
Well, I was not told this before we went. You just said it was a dance company.
Oh,
I went in blind. I know who Alvin Ailey is. I go by his school all the time, but I didn't know it was an interpretive dance company.
well, anyway, so the
Oh, okay.
first number was beautiful and incredible and amazing. Maybe didn't speak to us. Maybe
Hmm.
we didn't interpret it very well. But
Hmm.
the next two acts, the second one was something called Angels or something of the Angels, and it might have been one of the. I go to a lot of shows. I love dance. I love Broadway. I love the performing arts. It might have been one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life, ever.
Yeah, yeah, it was
What did
good.
you think of it?
I thought it was good. Yeah.
I'm like, it's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life, and you're like, uh-huh, it was good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I thought it was elegant and beautiful, and I felt something. It was so gorgeous. And then the next one was very upbeat, and it's like a lot of old spiritual hymns. Wade in the water, Sinner Man. There were all these little tableaus that were just incredible. So 10 out of 10, highly recommend Alvin
Yeah,
Ailey. It has
does
taken me
for
a lifetime to get there and see, and it was definitely worth it. And it was really cool that I got to share that with you, even though it's not necessarily your thing.
you.
Did you walk away from there feeling some inspiration or like it was worth it?
Yeah, yeah, no, it was sure. I didn't no, I didn't at all. But I did really appreciate it. It was no, it's great. Like I love dance. It was definitely a nice change of pace to go do something art like going and seeing art, especially art that you're not familiar with, I think is really rewarding. In its own right, because you're seeing something new and it's kind of, you're sparking something in your mind. I don't know if I was inspired really, but I mean maybe to go to the gym because everybody was jacked.
Those athletes, they were gorgeous athletes.
Athletic.
Those
Yeah.
dancers were gorgeous athletes.
Yeah. So that would probably be the biggest takeaway was like, maybe spend some more time in the gym, be a little more active. But no, I do think you have to consuming art in any way, whether it be a movie or a movie you don't really like a type of movie or a type of music that you don't really listen to. Actually that put a pin in that. I got some funny stuff for you on that.
Okay.
Um, or going to see a play that you don't know anything about, just discovering new things and kind of it's like trying food. If you don't taste a bunch of different types of food, especially food you don't eat that often, you're never really going to develop a good palate, let's
Mm-hmm.
say. So it's good to see and be like, okay, well, I didn't love the first one, but like the second one was much more acrobatic and kind of the music was a little softer, and so like I was drawn into it more, and then the last piece was much more there were, for lack of a better term, like Negro spirituals that I've known. So like that was very enthralling, very interesting, and I recognized the music, and so you're kind of more involved just because you have a familiarity. But either way, like I'm just happy that we did something other than like going and having a dinner or something that's more
Mm-hmm.
expansive. I like that.
So yeah, so I just sat down and did a podcast today with the governor of the Utah Jazz, Ryan Smith, and he's
Mm-hmm.
like tech billionaire. Started
Mm-hmm.
this huge company, Qualtrics. He just brought an NHL team to Utah. He's done all these incredible things, and my takeaway from our podcast was surrounding yourself with people who have growth mindsets is very important. So being around people who are willing to try new things. So I would say we grew by this experience going to something
Mm-hmm.
that was unique for both of us because
Yeah.
we've not done it before. We've not seen it before, and it's made us think and feel and experience something new. I think that might be my greatest value I have for our family is that we continue to have a growth mindset. How do you feel about that?
Interesting. So that's what I wanted to put a pin in because I was thinking about this just now. When we were driving, not I think it was during Thanksgiving. Anytime a song came on, you would give it 2 seconds and be like, change it. I don't like this. Yeah, and I was frustrated mostly because I knew what the songs were and I was like, well, just let it play. But it would be 2 say it was just one dissonant chord hit And like I was playing some new Tyler the Creator music,
Hmm.
and he's a little bit more offbeat, but you'd hear one note. Or like there's one song called Sticky where it's just like, and you were like, change it, get it out of here. Hate it.
But there was
Don't
one I
want it.
really loved. Who was the one I really loved that you introduced me to? Don.
Oh, oh dang. Let me look. It was Don Tolliver.
Don Tolliver, every single. So we were just playing like Spotify has like a list of songs, or it will have like a category you can put it on, and it just cycles through all these songs.
Yeah.
So you had a new category up for me that was just like really a lot of songs that we didn't know, and I was like, every time a song would come on by this Don Tolliver, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I love this. What is this? So
Mm.
just right, like finding artists that you like, but then there were some that I didn't like. You're right. So you're saying
Well,
I
didn't
could be a
even
little more patient to grow a little bit more.
I'm not saying any. I'm saying it was funny that it would be 2 seconds of a song. Nope, change it. This is terrible. 2 seconds in. I hate it. Get it out of here.
That,
But I just thought it was fun because it's just ironic. We're like, oh, we gotta have a growth mindset, and no, I don't like this. Is
oh,
what is this?
get it out immediately.
But yeah, I do. I mean, that's a common conception of like having you're the average of the people that you're around. So if you're around a lot of people who don't like trying new things or have a developed taste, how are you going to?
Right.
Which is hard. I think it's hard to have taste now because everything is so individualistic.
Well, I
So
think
it's
everything is so curated for you because, like, think
yeah,
about how social media works. Like, it's an algorithm that's feeding you things that they say you're going to like because you've clicked on a few of these other things. So
yeah.
you really aren't. Your life is being curated for you more than ever right
It's
now. So you have to branch out and be less
yeah, you have to
curated,
be
or
curious.
you have to curate your own life and not let the algorithms do it for you.
Yeah, which is the fun. I mean, we were talking about the messy part of life last week and how that's where the fun stuff is. Is like it's just as much fun to do something you already like. I went and saw, okay, this is amazing. I went and saw Interstellar in IMAX with my friend Chris last week, and it was gorgeous. It's a gorgeously shot movie. Christopher Nolan is one of the best to ever live. And it's just this gorgeous, beautiful movie. And I've seen it like 13 times. I saw it in IMAX when it first came out 10 years ago. So it's just like such a beautiful, and like it was super rewarding because you get to see something you haven't seen it this way in forever. And it was super inspiring. I really was like moved, and I was like, oh, this is what movies are. Um, and then and I know I like that thing. It's that thing is specific. I was getting notifications that they were going to re-release it, you know? But then on the flip side, I had never heard of this Alvin Ailey stuff, and I still had a great time. And now I'm like, okay, well, I would see another dance thing. Dance is interesting. I would be interested in seeing more of it. And I know my girlfriend loves dance, and so I've been wanting to take like dance classes with her anyway. So there's reward from even if you don't like something, it can spark your interest. And then even if you know you like something, doing that the best possible way also can spark things in you.
Mm-hmm.
It's there's no algorithm for when someone's going to hit and be awesome. So and that's
Mm-hmm.
you want to find people that you can also have share that with, because if you feel like you're alone in that pursuit, it can be a little bit tough to do, but also being alone is good for you. So
I went on a vacation once with a group of friends, and one of the friends, like, I definitely am one of these people that I kind of see the world through experience and trying new things. And one of those is food. I
mm,
just love trying different foods. You and I think we're very adventurous eaters to some extent. Indian, Thai, Japanese. We've tried
yeah.
every type of cuisine. We get out of our comfort zone. But this one woman on our trip would only eat pizza or spaghetti. And so I'd be like, oh my gosh, taste this truffle, blah, blah, blah. No, she would not try or taste anything. And I just realized, not that there's anything wrong with her or that. I just realized I have to travel with people who are curious. Like,
That's, you want to keep people around you that have a growth mindset. So that's anybody. I don't have a lot of respect for picky eaters in that sense of like, I only eat two things. It's like You're boring.
Well, yeah. So I like somebody could accuse me of being a little bit of a picky eater because I don't eat beef or pork, but and so I'll
Yeah.
frequently struggle to find things on menus because they I don't really like meat, and so it's hard to find things whatever. But
I guess there's a
I
difference
have a
between
very
being,
strong reason for why I don't like meat is because when I was 5 years old, my dad, who I love my dad, he took us to do so many different things and really fed our minds and our curiosity and our imagination. This one was one that backfired. Is he took us to a farm to see how meat is made. And
Mhm.
so I went to a farm and I saw, warning, this is going to be graphic. Um, they came and slaughtered a cow in front of us, slaughtered a pig in front of us, and it scarred me for life. And I have never eaten beef or pork since I was 5 years old because it grossed me out so bad. And so, like, yes, I can be picky about that because I was super traumatized by this experience. But I do like to try other things and I do try to branch out and get outside my comfort zone.
Yeah. I more am saying, I think there's a difference between being picky and being not curious, like where
Right.
you being there's two sides of
Refusing to
picky
try
eating.
anything new. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like there's things I don't like, and I know I don't like them, and I have a reason. Which I was talking with my girlfriend about this today, where it's like she really likes a certain type of sushi because some of the other types of sushi make her stomach upset, and then I don't like fish at all, so like certain fish or certain sushis I don't like because they're fishier.
Right.
But that doesn't mean you don't try a bunch of different sushis and get a taste for what you like. And then there's people who are like, I will not eat sushi.
Right. You made me try something recently. What was it? You said, Mom, you're always after me to try new things. You've got to try new things. And you made me try something. It might have been meat something. And it was good. What was that?
Ooh, I don't know.
I can't remember
I don't
either. But
remember. I
anyway,
don't
I
remember.
remember like being shamed into trying something new by you. And I did.
Oh,
And you were right.
it was it tamarind.
Oh, it was
Um,
lamb. It was
yes,
lamb.
it was
It was
lamb.
a
Yeah.
lamb appetizer. And I was like, oh, but I don't love meat. And I don't know if I want to. So this, okay, not to be too gross again, but this is a true story. So my dad was raised on a sheep farm in Utah.
Hmm.
He was literally a sheep herder. He spent
Hmm.
his summers herding sheep. Grandpa,
Hmm.
did you know that?
Hmm.
Grandpa was a sheep herder. Okay. So anyway, when I was a kid, he brought home a baby lamb and I bottle fed this baby. This is a true story. I'm not making this up. I bottle fed this baby lamb for probably weeks. It felt like maybe months. And then just one day the lamb was gone, and my dad said he took the lamb to a new farm or something. I think maybe we ate the lamb. Now that I look back on that situation, like just one day the lamb was gone.
Yeah, that's why you were raising.
Oh,
You were
yeah.
raising it to eat it.
Oh.
What are you
But
gonna do?
but
Do your
in
own thing.
his world, that's what you did. You were sheep farmers. You
Yeah.
raised cattle. You raised beef to eat it. My other grandpa on the other side owned a dairy farm. So
Yeah,
very
it
interesting.
was a different time. You had to raise food to eat it. You didn't
Yeah.
have a Beyond Burger. I don't trust any of that stuff though. I can't get on board with any of
The
that. I've
meat
tried it.
substitutes.
Yeah. I don't nah. Eh.
I like the bean stuff, like any bean burgers. They have like black bean burgers, black bean, like bean stuff. I like those.
No. No.
No,
Get it
no.
out of here. I mean, it's just it's right. If you don't want to have you don't have a burger.
Well,
You
full
know what I mean?
disclosure, honey, every time I make us chili at our house, I
I know,
use
I can
that
tell the
fake meat.
difference.
Oh,
Yeah,
can
I
you?
know.
You can
Yeah, I
tell?
know. Yeah, it tastes like there's a piece of cardboard in the middle. But then I've made it with actual meat, and it's
Oh.
the fat gets in there and just makes the flavor. Because you can do turkey. We've done
Yeah.
ground turkey and stuff.
Yeah, we've
Yeah,
done some ground turkey. Yeah.
that stuff is that's the money.
Okay, so growth mindset is important to both of us.
Yep. Yeah.
So speaking of growth mindset, let me see what my topics are today for our chaos theory.
What do we got? I got a
Oh,
couple.
okay, so I had someone on Instagram send in a chaos theory suggestion
Okay.
that I thought was really good that we could talk about. And this is more
Okay.
for you because I feel like you're more in the wheelhouse of what she was talking about. So she has kids who are doing lots of finals coming up. and kids who are doing tests. A lot of kids are in testing in school,
Hmm.
midterms, end of year assignments, finals. So, what are some anxiety hacks for kids and young people who are trying to do well in tests or performance enhanced things? Any ideas you might have to avoid getting anxious?
The biggest thing would be, and this is with everything, is like end result. Don't focus on the end result as much, because then that's what will give you anxiety. It's similar with weight loss. It's similar with like, when I'm writing, if I'm writing a script and all I'm thinking about is the movie I'm going to make, and I'm not focused on the story that I'm telling and making sure it makes sense and going piece by piece and building it, you know, that end result will just stand in the way, and there'll just be this big bridge that I can't get past because I'm not building the bridge.
What is on your finger right now?
It's I cut my finger cooking.
Oh
I
wow, it
I
looks
was tr
nasty. Did you
it this is I washed dishes like a couple minutes, or not minutes ago, but like an hour ago, and so I got it all wet, and now it's kind of cut. I got to put a new one on.
Okay, for people who are
Yeah,
listening, he has the world's raggediest bandage on his arm or on
it's a
his
day.
finger, and he just flipped me off because it's on the tip of your middle finger.
Yeah, it's I it's what happens when it's on the tip of your finger, so it's getting
Cooking
rubbed against
accident.
stuff, and it was a cooking accident. I like to cook. I made adobo. My girlfriend's Filipino, and so I've been making Filipino dishes, and adobo is a pretty easy one, and it's delicious. So I made that, and while I was cutting up all the beef, I was going a little fast, being a little careless, and just got the tip of my finger.
You still have the tip of your finger, correct?
Yeah, it was just like the bed right here.
Oh yeah, ouch. The
Yeah,
meaty
it
part,
just
ouch.
got the meaty part. It's not bad. It's just in an inopportune spot.
Mm.
But yeah, with anxiety and stuff, like all of anxiety is you're just thinking about the future and you're not thinking about the present. And
Mm-hmm.
so with anything you're doing, it's the same tenet. It's in the Bible, it's in Think and Grow Rich, it's in everything. It's the steps you take in front of you, piece by piece. And like the more you focus on the things you have control of and the pieces that you can build right in front of you, the better the result will be. If you're building a brick wall, I'm stealing this from Will Smith. If you're building a brick wall, if you're just thinking about how big you need to make it, you're never just putting the pieces and just going piece by piece and building it. So when you're studying, just go through each thing, make sure you know it, and then move on to the next thing. And the things that you don't understand, spend extra time on them. Don't go, I don't understand this. This is 25% of the test. I'm gonna fail the test. The test isn't happening. You just need to know what you need to know and get good at just knowing it
Mm-hmm.
and good
So
at
the little
studying it.
things, right?
Yeah. You got to build
So
a house.
years ago, we were covering Gino Auriemma and UConn women's basketball, and they were on like 100. Let's say they were at about 100 wins at this point, and they
Hmm.
were going to tie the record for the longest winning streak in college basketball history. So we were there getting ready to do the game, and I'm trying to dig down into why UConn and Gino in particular, and Chris Daly, shout out Chris Daly, why
Hmm.
they have had such great success with winning. And the best analogy that I could come up with after talking to him and doing all this extensive research is Gino and UConn basketball is like a Monet masterpiece.
Hmm.
Is if you step back and look at the painting, you see this beautiful painting. You see this 100-game win streak. I think it ended at 110 games. And if you really step up close to look at the painting, it's all tiny dots. So Claude Monet was an impressionist, and it's these tiny dots. And so 10 tiny dots make a tree, 20 tiny dots make a figure, and what he is good at is getting players to focus on the tiny dots and not the masterpiece. And by being good at the tiny things, it created the masterpiece. So I love
Yeah.
what you're saying is um, focusing on your footwork, on your defensive footwork, on this drill and how you close out on a 3-point shot. And then that's going to make you better at this defense. And then that's going to make you better at stopping this player. And then that's going to make you, and then it moves out and moves out to the big picture. So that's great
Exactly.
advice, honey. I love that. It's the little things and the little steps. Great
Yeah. There's a
advice.
million a million little steps lead to when you're it's same thing with your when you're running a marathon. If you're just focused on the 26 miles, you can barely run a mile. It's it's just modern, it's psychology. Like it's there's interesting things. I've been doing this weird I don't know if it's weird, but like I found some guy on TikTok and he was talking about all these Bible stories that then just repeat. And I love Joseph Campbell, who's this writer who kind of does that, where there's all these myths that kind of have an overarching thing that speak to the human experience. And like there's just these tenets in life that are always true. You be good to your neighbor. You like the little things are what matters, to be present, like all that stuff that you find in like every self-help book is the same 15 things. They're just saying it a different way. Eckhart
Mm-hmm.
Tolle, Power of Now, all that stuff. That's the exact same thing as The Secret.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same stuff. I think that the thing that we all need to learn is just how to be present, be focused, do what you want to do it well, be curious. And everything kind of goes well after that. And
Mm.
it's not easy. If it was easy, then we wouldn't have millennia of stories about doing that thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough journey, but you're not alone doing it. You just gotta figure out, what your brand of it is. Are you more of the secret person? Are you the Power of Now, Atomic Habits, the Alchemist? Which one speaks to you? Grab that, hold it, make that your Bible, do it. And it'll come to you eventually when it should.
I love it.
That's
Okay,
my
what's one of
pastor
your
meeting.
and namaste.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, let's hear one of your chaos theories, son.
Uh, okay. Well, this ties into what we're talking about, so I'll do two because I grabbed another one. Okay. So the first one, can you see it?
I can't see it.
It's
Can't see
blurring
any
it
of
out
it.
for some reason. I don't know why it's blurring it out.
Yeah.
It's to-do lists.
Oh, well, this speaks. That's so funny because that really ties into what we were just talking about as the steps required. So I am a huge to-do list person. I always feel like if I lay in bed at night and stew, so we're going back to anxiety about taking finals or tests or progress. If I lay in bed and stew about something, or I sit around and think and stew about something, if I will actually just get out and write down the to-do list of here are my steps to accomplish, it takes the pressure off me because then I have a plan or a roadmap. I
Yeah.
am a queen of to-do lists, and I have forever been nagging you about to-do lists, and you like doing them on your phone, which brings me no
I write them down.
satisfaction.
I write them down. I do both.
Oh, you do both?
It depends on what it is, but I'll do whatever. It's whatever I have available right then when I need to write it down. It's just having stuff, having systems, just write it down, make sure you see it,
Mm-hmm.
do it.
It really
That's
helps me. And then when I go back and look at, so like I still to this day write in a planner. I use a handwritten daily planner. And I know that's backwards and people think it's silly, whatever, but I like having something written out and it helps me learn it, memorize it. But I'll go back and look at my previous to-do list from months past. And it also gives me a great sense of accomplishment. Like, oh, wow, I actually really have done a lot this month, or I actually really accomplished a lot. So big proponent of to-do lists.
yeah.
Okay.
And then my last one was conspiracy theories.
Okay, this is crazy. So for the longest time, I have read a lot. And because I am in television production, for the longest time, I have thought that the moon landing video was not real. And that
You
I'm
thought
not
the moon landing video was fake?
yes, because
Wait, you really thought that? You're
I
not kidding.
I really do sort of still believe that. Because if you look at the video of the moon landing, there's just too many technical production things that do not make sense. So if you know television and camera angles and shadows, like they put up an American flag and there's the flag sticking straight out, flying. How's the flag flying in this atmosphere? Where's
It's
this
not
camera
there's
mounted that
no
they have
atmosphere,
multiple
so it's not.
angles of the moon landing?
They were carrying they don't have angles of the moon, the actual landing. They have images of it going off.
No, they have it, images from the moon, honey. Go, you'll
They
Google
have
this after
images
the
of the
podcast.
lander coming down from the lander.
Yeah, where did that image come from? Is someone on the
The
moon
lander.
filming it coming down?
No, it's coming from the land. The lander has cameras, and they
Well, anyway,
filmed
there's
the
a
land.
charming movie out right now. There's a charming movie out right now with Scarlett Johansson and Channing Tatum
Mm-hmm.
called, what is it called? I forgot.
Fly
Fly
Me to
Me
the
to the
Moon.
Moon. And this, I don't know if this movie's real or if this really actually did happen, but
No,
they
it's
were
not real.
worried that things would go wrong. And so NASA staged a false landing on the moon with cameras and everything. So, anyway, yes, this is a conspiracy. I am not a big conspiracy theorist in general.
Oh,
That's one I believe in.
This is
That's one I
devastating
believe
news
in.
to find out on the podcast. I can't believe it. The moon landing was real. How?
How do you know?
Because there's okay. What now? Okay, that opens a whole other just bag of worms. Ugh. Okay. I was just gonna say something funny, like the what's the thing called? The Mandela effect? Is it Bernstein bears or Berenstain bears? I didn't know you had a real. You know the Earth's not flat, right?
I know the Earth's not flat; it's round.
What?
Who's
But
who's who
is
said it
it?
was flat?
There's a big community of people who think the Earth is flat.
No, we know
The
that's not
same group
true.
of people that think the moon landing was fake. That is just a gateway drug.
Well, if I just want everyone out there listening, you can make up your own mind. You do not have to listen to me on this. I don't feel like I'm a wacko that thinks of all these crazy theories. But from a television production standpoint and camera angle standpoint, if you go back and watch the moon landing video, I have some questions.
Oh, oh no. Okay, well that's good. I'm glad we got that. Mom, I have to go.
I want you to go and watch the moon landing video and get back to me. You're going to be like,
Uh,
wow. Because they cut
okay.
away, there's cutaway shots, there's different angles. And I'm like, how did they get these different angles? Where's this camera? How did this camera get here? How did this camera get here?
Yeah, well, you know what? We'll do some research. We'll come back next week and we'll talk about the moon landing.
Okay. Well,
You do some research, I'll do some
please tweet
research, we'll
us
compare.
at Call Your Mom Pod, Instagram. Send us a message. Give us your thoughts.
Like,
I'd like to hear
comment,
more. Like, comment,
subscribe.
subscribe. We should do a poll on if people think the moon landing was real or not.
We're gonna do a poll on if people are literate, intelligent Americans or not.
I'm just saying, give it a watch back and see. Okay.
It's so funny because there's a scene in Interstellar that somebody has to deal with somebody who doesn't think the moon landing is real. That is so funny.
That is so funny. Okay, so
Oh,
my
I
last
also cut
topic.
off a piece of my nail.
I feel like this was a big accident today, honey.
No, not really. It was, yeah, it was a couple days ago.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
don't
my
know.
last topic. Oh, geez, that does look awful.
It looks
My
bad,
last
right?
topic. Stop flipping off the audience.
I'm not
Ouch.
flipping them off.
Okay. My last topic, and there's a reason I wanted to bring this up, is so we started our foundation, Joy Plus Us, Joyous Foundation. And the whole premise of this foundation was, when mom was dealing with cancer and things weren't going so well, couldn't control anything else around me, but I could control being joyful every day. And I started keeping a joy journal, and I still to this day write down what brought me joy today. And so, like Sunday, we went to a great dinner and then the Alvin Ailey Theater. I've been wanting to see that for 30 years. It was with you. That was my joyful thing on Sunday. Flying into Salt Lake City yesterday and watching the mountains covered with snow and the sun was shining. It was gorgeous. That brought me joy yesterday. So we are really trying to focus in our lives on really leaning into and loving the things that bring us joy. So I wanted to ask you, what brought you joy today?
Um, brought me joy today. I've been doing my laundry. I'm almost done with my laundry. And I've been kind of just going through all my stuff and getting some consignment bags going to donate. So that's been fun. That brought me some joy. Having coffee with Doc this morning, that brought me a lot of joy. That's always a nice way to wake up, have some coffee, talk. That's kind of our like morning routine. So that's always good. And then yeah, just knocking off errands. I like feeling like I'm getting stuff done.
Getting stuff done. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we had a great weekend this weekend. So our Joyous Foundation, we were able to bring a young lady who is a high school assistant football coach and her dad. We were able to bring them to the Heisman, Peyton Gibbs and her dad, Peter. And she's obsessed with football, like literally was planning her whole days around, I got to get back so I can watch the Army-Navy game, or,
Yeah.
I've got to get back so I can watch the Western Michigan game or whatever. and watching her get to meet some of her football idols. So she's obsessed with Johnny Manziel. She got to chat with Johnny Manziel for a minute, get a picture with him. She got to meet Tim Tebow and visit with Tim Tebow, Steve Spurrier, just like all these legends at the Heisman Trophy. And so I just wanted to say special shout out to the Heisman Trophy Trust and their foundation for helping us host Peter and Peyton. And to you, because you did a lot of work helping me pick them up from the airport and get them settled at their hotel and making sure they had everything they needed in New York City. So thank you, son. That brought me a lot of joy this weekend. And
Same.
hopefully we brought a lot of joy to Peyton in her life.
Yeah, I think we did. She's a delight. Her father's a delight as well. That was amazing to have them here this weekend.
Yes. Okay. Well, all right. Thanks for the check-in. I feel like we've covered a lot, but my takeaway from the pod this week is, whether you're in a strip club in Miami on South Beach, or at the Heisman Trophy, or at the Alvin Ailey Dance Studio, like whatever you're doing, have a growth mindset, experience new things, enjoy life. And I think that's a good family value that we have together. And I'm grateful that you are willing to grow and try new things with your mom.
All right.
Love you, darling.
Goodbye. Love you. And I will see you next week.
See you next week.